Good day, everyone!
Today we're going to talk about a documentary called The Sugar Film. This film focuses on how sugar affects on our body, especially the sugar that is hidden in the foods we think are healthy. It helps us to understand why too much sugar can be dangerous to our health.
My name is Damon Gamo. This is my weatherboard house. This is a time lapse of my girlfriend's pregnancy. There's 3 months to go. And this is a photo of me at age 10. I was a rare boy whose face grew into his teeth. 5 years ago, when I met my girlfriend, I was pretty much living on cigarettes, sugar, and my homemade Australian pizzas. But then, as men often do, they feign interest in things to impress a girl.
The love is blind.
For me, it was healthy eating. I actually cut out refined sugar from my diet to seal the deal. But now sugar is dominating the headlines. And there's so much debate and conjecture on the topic that it's hard to know what to believe. But with this little person on the way, I feel like I need some definitive answers.
If the average Australian family of 4 had to buy the sugar they are consuming in a week, they would be going to the supermarket, taking 6 1-kilo bags of sugar off the shelves, 6, taking it home, eating it all that week, then going back next week and doing it again.
Clearly, the ability to be on a high sugar diet is really new, especially in terms of evolutionary time zone.
Sugar has become so prevalent in today's society that if you removed all the items containing it from a standard supermarket's shelves, just 20% of items would remain.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the condensed history of sugar. The first reports of sugar came from New Guinea in 8000 BC. Local mythology says that the human race came about after a man made love to the stalk of a sugarcane. Then, by a trade of migration routes, the cane made its way to India. In the 12th century, sugar arrived in Europe, and due to its rarity, it quickly became a status symbol for royalty. Queen Elizabeth I had a real love of sugar. So much so that her teeth rotted and went black from it. At the start of the 20th century, sugar was still seen as a treat, something you would add to a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. But then in 1955, an event occurred that significantly influenced the amount of sugar we eat today.
A stunned nation hears that its president is stricken with a heart attack at the...
On September the 23rd, 1955, the US President Dwight Eisenhower suffered a heart attack, and the issue of heart disease was thrust into the public domain.
Summoned to the hospital, a famed Boston heart specialist.
Two strong theories emerged. One led by an American scientist named Ancel Keys, who declared that fat was the problem, while a British doctor named John Yudkin believed sugar was to blame.
I'd be very happy if everybody had 4 pounds of sugar a year. They eat 100 pounds.
Over the next 2 decades, the discussion brought fierce arguments from both camps. But by the end of the 1970s, Ancel Keys had won out. Fat became the villain, sugar was exonerated, and the low-fat movement was in full swing.
We institutionalize this idea that a low-fat diet is a healthy diet. So what you want to do is remove fats. This is how industry perceives this. We're going to remove fat from otherwise healthy foods. And when we do this, we have to replace the calories. We have to make sure we have the right mouthfeel. It has to taste as good as it did with fat, and the best way to do that is with sugar.
With sugar now saturating our food supply, and the constant confusion over its effects on our health, the only real way to get some answers is for me to start eating sugar again and see what it does to my body. So the first step is to set up an experiment with the help of a team of experts.
The sugar film, also known as that sugar film, follows the journey of Diamond Gamma. He eats foods that are commonly labeled as healthy, such as cereals, yogurt, and fruit juices. Even though he avoids junk food, his sugar intake becomes very high because of hidden sugars.
The Celtic food queen. And supervising my overall health is Dr. Debbie Herbst, aka Checkups.
Okay, so I want to do this mission. I want to find out what sugar does to me. What kind of things do I need to do?
If you want to match Australian averages, you're going to have to be in the range 40 teaspoons of sugar a day.
Right, low-fat flavoured yogurt. Another good one would be some beans on toast.
Baked beans?
1 serving of a iced tea, you'll end up with nearly 9 teaspoons of sugar.
If I can achieve 40 teaspoons a day without touching perceived candy or junk food, I mean, I can't quite fathom that's possible, but if we can do that and see some changes, then that seems like a pretty good story.
A lot of your health markers are going to be going in very much the
As shown in the film, consuming too much sugar causes serious health problems. Damon experienced weight gain, fatigue, mood swings, and fatty liver disease. The film explains that sugar can lead to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and other illness if consumed in excess.
Changes, obviously.
So you've got a really normal, healthy blood pressure, 121/79, and your heart rate's pretty good at 75, so that's pretty good. Alrighty, so we'll just have a listen to your heart, see what it sounds like. You know what it's saying, Damon.
Don't do this crazy
Exactly, that's exactly what I heard it saying.
There are some tests that we're doing just to make sure that you're not doing anything too stupid here.
Usually I'm telling people not to eat all this sort of stuff, so...
I personally think you're insane for doing it at all. But no, honestly, I think it's dangerous. But I guess on the plus side, everybody else is already doing it.
So this is where my health stands pre-experiment. My total calorie intake is approximately 2,300 a day, with 50% coming from good fats like avocado and nuts, 26% from protein such as eggs, meat or fish, and 24% from carbohydrates like fresh vegetables. And of course, there is no refined sugar. I currently weigh 76 kilograms with a waist circumference of 84 centimetres. My blood tests showed a very healthy liver, a very low level of triglyceride, which is fat in the bloodstream, and thankfully no sign of insulin resistance or diabetes. Overall, I rated slightly healthier than the average Western male of my age.
Ability to find even small amounts, and it's a case where we're looking
Remind
for
us
a little
that
bit
being
now we have
informed
too much.
is the key to a
And so
healthier
the system
lifestyle.
in an evolutionary terms is not really set up to deal with this sudden abundance of highly refined sugar.
After just 2 days of the experiment, I was amazed at how easy it was to get to 40 teaspoons without eating any junk food. I've just had a breakthrough as to how we might be consuming so much fructose. I just bought these 4 apples. Now I know that if I tried to eat these apples, I'd probably get through 2 of them and I'd feel full. The fibre in the fruit would tell my body to stop. It's had enough to eat. But I want to see what happens if I can juice these 4 apples. Right, so that's 4 apples. That's the sugar from 4 apples in 1 glass. Now 1 apple is about 4 teaspoons of sugar, so that's 16 teaspoons of sugar in that glass. See, nature has given us this perfect little packet, and it's got all the nutrients, the fibre that tells us when we're full, and just the right amount of sugar in this. But what we do is we invent a machine like this, which extracts only the sugar, and then we throw everything else away. This high amount of sugar in juice, and drinks in general, was certainly the biggest surprise of the first week.
Beverage tend to really create a rush, what I kind of call a tsunami effect. So you basically have this huge wave of sugar that gets to your liver, and that has a lot of consequence. It was now day 12, and time for my first weigh-in. Moment of truth. 79.3. Huh?
I'm about to cry.
What? Are you
3.2 kilos
in 12 days?
in 12 days.
And that's without 1 fizzy drink, no ice cream, no chocolate. That is eating healthy food.
It's alarming, alarming. I guess it's.
Debbie's alarm was.
We know that with fructose, you tend to accumulate more fat in this area. We don't know why, but we know on the other hand that when you do accumulate that fat in this area, you have a lot of metabolic disease that are associated with this.
On day 15, it occurred to me what 40 teaspoons of sugar would actually look like, stripped of its cleverly marketed packaging. Today, I'm going to eat 40 actual teaspoons of sugar. Just right, low-fat yogurt. There's 10 teaspoons of sugar. Here, just a bowl of plain Vital Wheats. So what I'm going to do this now equals that. It's time for my mid-morning snack. Now I could have this amount of frozen yogurt, or 11. So it's lunch. I have this delicious piece of chicken here. Now I could add half a packet of this teriyaki chicken sauce. Or alternatively, now to wash it down, I could have one of these. Or
I'll take the sweet. You can
take the sound every single minute, every single hour.
So it's the mid-afternoon slump. Now, as a pick-me-up, I could have this Go Natural Superfood Apple Strawberry Cranberry Ripple Bar, or I could have this 7-teaspoon water cracker sugar sandwich.
You can take the sound every single minute, every single
It was at this point that I thought I'd better check in with Professor Blood.
The big change is that the liver function tests have had an amazing rise in one of the enzyme levels, the ALT level. The ALT is an enzyme in the liver which helps the reactions go out. If it appears in your blood, because that's where we measured it, it shows that the liver cells are releasing their contents, i.e. they're being damaged or dying. And so it's really...
My liver cells are dying.
They are. It's obviously getting full of fat.